Hey guys, Raul here, and I wanted to take a moment to go over the new war bond that was officially announced today, the Polar Patriots, I think it's called. Yeah, Polar Patriots. And just what was included there. There's a few very exciting things that I can't wait to pick up when that comes out next week. So I want to go over the trailer, kind of stop it at a few points, talk about a few things, and then look a little more in depth at the blog post and go over some things that are in there. So I think the first thing I just want to point out, it says right here in the headline of the blog post, it talks about trap laying weaponry, which is very strange because there's nothing in the war bond that I saw that had anything to do with traps, which is super weird that they would say that. And I don't understand what they're going for here. When you read through the blog post, it seems like they're talking about the new Scorcher based weapon that you charge up and fire as if you kind of like juke and bait them in and shoot them. So that must be what they're talking about. That is so strange that they say this several times throughout the blog post. It's just very strange. It's not like there's a trap or a mine or something that you would traditionally think of uh, in this war bond. So it's very weird that they point that out there. But let's just go ahead and go right down and watch this trailer. And I'm going to stop it a few times and talk about some things that are in it. It's very short, so um, it's kind of be going to be kind of hard to catch everything, but we'll try it here. Okay, so I'm going to start right off the bat. I'll get out of here. And these are the three new armors. You've got, this has got to be, I think, heavy armor, the Winter Soldier armor. And one strange thing about this is the little blurb about this armor is they mention it's uh, matches the snow, talking about fighting the bots and the snowy planets and how it's all stealthy and it says several things about stealth, but the boost on it is servo assisted, which is kind of weird. Here in the middle, you've got the Kodiak, which I am going to guess it's either going to be heavy or medium. You would think they would do heavy, medium, light, but they have not done that in the past, so I would not be surprised if these are both heavy. They do kind of both look heavy. We'll have to see. It's not clear in the blog post. But I do like the color scheme on this. We don't have many like gray greenish. And if you look at the Warbond images themselves, it's kind of weird. This looks more white in the images than it does in the video. The video does look more gray green, so it's kind of strange. And then over here on the left, I know this is not the greatest resolution I'm looking at here. I don't know why it's so low. Let me see if I can bump this up here in real time. Yeah, that looks way, way better. I should have done that much earlier. So here on the left, we have my favorite armor. I cannot wait to get this armor in the War Bond, and I'll talk about that more in a second. But this is the Arctic Ranger armor. Clearly light armor, and it's got the scout bonus. The Kodiak armor here, it's going to have the fortified bonus, which I believe is the anti-explosive bonus. But it does look cool. It's got the red visor, little subtle yellow highlights. Very cool still. That'll go with a lot of capes and stuff. You'll be able to mix that around, I think. So let's continue on here. Now, I want to just step that back for just a second and point something out to you. Of these three armors, and I kind of don't like that Kodiak helmet, and you can see what I'm talking about with that white. It's got kind of a white camo cloth in the middle. That's pretty cool, but it does look more white here than it did in that intro. It did look more green and darker gray in that intro, so I don't know. I can't tell what color this is actually going to be. But the reason I'm so excited about the Arctic Ranger um, armor over here is if you look closely and if you jar your brain back to the 90s when you're a kid, if you were a kid back then. Some of you may be a lot younger, but this is straight up the Cobra Commander armor. 100% Cobra Commander. No denying it. And I cannot wait to get this armor. I'm going to be rocking this armor for so long. I don't even care about the boost just the drip alone, I'm going to be wearing this armor for so long. But I am super excited for this. And I saw this a while back in some early leaks just on Twitter. You know, I don't go searching out leaks or anything, but I saw this and I was like, oh my gosh, that is for sure Cobra Commander. I cannot wait till that comes out. And sure enough, here it is. So I'm super excited to get that armor. We'll move on here. The capes are cool. This cape over here on the right, this, and I'll kind of move my camera out of the way as I talk about this. Let me not mess anything up too much, but let's see. Come on now. This is very similar to some capes we already have. So I'm not very excited about this one. There are like one or two capes just like this already. So that's not super cool. We have a couple capes like the one in the middle, but this is a longer version of those, and that does look pretty good to me. But this one on the left is like nothing we've ever gotten. I've been waiting for some blue capes, some red capes. I was very disappointed with the cape in the last Warbond, the Demolition Warbond, the one that had a diagonal cut on it. It looked like it was going to be really red and be a red cape that was going to go with some of the red armor we were getting. It turned out to be really orange and really just not match any of the shaders we had. And I could not find an armor that perfectly matched it and I could wear it with that I was happy with. So I was kind of upset by that. So I hope this isn't misleading and we are going to get exactly what we see here, this shade of red and everything like that. But if you'll notice this orange back here that the Arctic armor does have, it is kind of that orange that the Demolition Cape has. So that might end up matching up. All right. Okay. Now this is the other really cool thing. And check that sick helmet. It's definitely the Cobra Commander. I mean, it's not an exact match, but super close to the Cobra Commander helmet. They got to be legally distinct here, you know, with them factory striders, everything like that. You know, they don't want to do crossovers, but they'll give us, you know, little breadcrumbs here. But if you look here, this new pistol we're getting, and if you read the description in the blog post, which we'll look at in a moment, it has these distinct machined slider grip grooves, right? And you hear the gunshots coming from that video. This is clearly a Deagle, a Desert Eagle 50 cal pistol. And that's pretty awesome. I imagine that's going to sit somewhere between the Peacemaker and the Senator as far as power, magazine, fire rate, things like that. It looks like it's got a laser sight. So hopefully it's got some useful you know, iron sights or the laser sight will be there. I think we've got a couple weapons that do have a laser sight already. I can't think of which ones they are right now, but it looks like it's definitely going to have a laser sight on there. So this is going to be awesome. The P-113 Verdict. Very excited about that weapon. I think of all the weapons in this Warbond, this is the one I'm most excited for. And that was probably the case with the Demolition, is the pistol was the most exciting weapon on that, the grenade pistol. Seemed to be the case, at least for me, on this Warbond as well. So then we've got the AR-61 Tenderizer. This appears to be a medium penetration assault rifle with a smaller magazine. I'm going to guess it's going to have a higher damage maybe than some of the other assault rifles with medium penetration. Maybe worse fire rate, maybe lower magazine capacity, worse recoil, things like that. Something to balance it out. But it's got to be at least medium penetration assault rifle. Maybe something closer to like a full auto Dominator. Fires a bit faster, maybe doesn't do quite as much damage. Something like that. So here's the SMG-72 Pummeler. This is definitely a Defender variant. And from what I can tell, it just looks like a Defender with explosive damage to it. And as we know with the Liberator Concussive, not super useful. Against the bots, you're not really going to be doing anything or fighting anything that's going to work well against. When you're fighting Devastators, you're usually going for headshots, and stagger against those enemies is just going to mess up your aim to get those headshots, especially when you need more than one shot. Against the bugs, it'll help you against the medium enemies. So, like Brood Commanders, it'll push them back if they're coming at you. Stalkers, Hive Guards, yes, it will stagger them, but you really just want to kill them. And without medium pin, you're still going to have trouble with the armor. And I doubt that this weapon's going to have medium pin. It's probably just going to have the explosive damage. So it might give you some extra damage against things like spewers or charger butts. But I don't know. I don't see. This is probably going to be relegated to the same spot that the Liberator Concussive is, which is, I don't know, a flavor type of weapon. Now, I want to stop here because what they're illustrating right here is that this weapon, for sure, and they've made sure to show you several different shots, that this weapon one-shot Striders from the front. They want you to know that this weapon one-shot Striders from the front, even after Striders got the explosive resistance buff. So they did that backhanded nerf where they didn't nerf the weapons, but they buffed the enemy that the weapon was good against, which was the Strider. So the Punisher Plasma and the Scorcher were excellent at killing Striders from the front. The Scorcher could two-shot him from the front. The Punisher Plasma could one-shot him from the front. And the Eruptor, too, could one-shot him from the front. They increase that explosive resistance, so now it takes 4 shots from a Scorcher. It takes 2 direct hits from a Plasma Punisher. I think it takes probably 2 now from an Eruptor if you're going to direct hit. You might still be able to get 1 from the ground shot. I'm not sure about that since they took shrapnel away. But with this, they're definitely showing you can now one-shot a Strider. Now, this is going to be a charge weapon. Personally, I do not like charge weapons. If you can't clip your charge, if you at least get some kind of shot off through charging, I might like this more. I don't like things like the Quasar and the Arc Thrower because if you don't fully charge, you don't do anything. You essentially just waste time. If that's not the case with this weapon, I might like it more. I also wonder if there's stages to the charge. It seems like there is, based on the little blurb in the blog here about charging it and charging it and charging it. So if there's different stages, if you can't clip, if you when you fire, you at least fire something, no matter how long you charge, it might be cooler. Other than that, I don't know how interested I am. It does seem like it's definitely going to be a bot weapon. There's just too much going on the bug side as far as chaff and overwhelm is concerned for this to be viable, unless you're really using it as a support and using something like a stalwart as your primary, like you might do with an eruptor right now. So I could see it feeling like kind of that eruptor slot maybe on the bug side. We'll just have to see. We need to know more about how this weapon operates before we can make a real judgment on it. It's not very straightforward. It's new mechanics. It's kind of new territory. So, impact incendiary. The impact grenade is way better than the normal frag or the HE grenade. I imagine that the impact incendiary, a lot of people are going to run that over the normal incendiary. If the damage isn't terrible and the area isn't dramatically reduced, probably everybody who wants to run incendiaries is going to go for the impact incendiary. The only reason you wouldn't, in my opinion, is if you use the regular incendiary right now in like a lot of like solo 9s where you drop it and run away, because you're doing a lot of kiting and running around, a lot of Benny Hilling to get back around to objectives, and you're trying to clear some of the ads that way. You might want to stick with the regular ones so you can throw it at your feet and kind of leave a trap that way. You won't be able to do that with the impact version, but I think most people will probably just run the impact once this comes out. And that's the video from Arrowhead and PlayStation. So we'll take a look about what they have to say about each of these. And here they do reveal it is high caliber with high stopping power, limited magazine size for the Tenderizer, the Halo looking gun here. Or I guess the Starship Trooper looking gun is really what it looks like. The Pummeler, the SMG. This will be what, our third SMG? I guess our second if you didn't get the Super Citizen upgrade. Concussive rounds, dazed and confused. To me, that just means stagger, as we talked about before, and where that kind of falls. Really only useful against bugs, and typically you're only going to see that come into effect against the medium bugs because you're going to kill the small bugs within 1 or 2 shots. So all you're going to see that against is Stalkers, Brood Commanders, Hive Guards. The Plasma Purifier. This is a really weird write-up. The copy on this is very strange. It's just painful to read, to be honest with you, but it's talking about setting up the shot, holding it, letting them get closer, and then eventually firing. But I think the big deal with this is, hey, this gun one-shot Striders from the front. For sure, letting you know. Secondary weapons, the Incendiary Impact. Of course, I think a lot of people switch to that if they use Incendiary. The P-113 Verdict, gas-operated semi-automatic chambers, the largest centerfire cartridge. Definitely the Deagle. If you're a Desert Eagle fan, which a lot of people are, it's a very cinematic gun. You'd probably be picking this up and rocking it. I bet a lot of people who run the Senator, just because they like the look, the aesthetics of the Senator, might be switching to the Verdict when it comes out, because that Deagle is very iconic. Now, this next thing, the booster in this Warbond is insane. And there's got to be some kind of drawback, some kind of cooldown, some kind of trade, because I just can't believe they're going to let us nullify this mechanic. And what it is motivational shocks. After being hit and slowed, it jolts you back into action. So we're talking the Stalker slow, the Bile Titan Spit slow, all those different slows. It's going to nullify those. And I can't think of any booster that has, the effect happens and then there's a cooldown and it doesn't happen again. So is it going to be pure immunity? If it's not, we've never had anything like that before. So if that's straight immunity, everybody's running this. At least for bugs, everybody is going to be running motivational shocks. They better make this thing cost 250 medals. They better cost the cap, because that is 100% what I want to go for before anything else. That booster is insane. Then we talked about the different armors. The Winter Warrior, this is the white armor. Again, it talks about all that stealth, but the passive is servo assisted, which is the limb health and the throw range. The Kodiak, which is the gray armor. It kind of looks green. I keep saying in this shot. But that is the Fortified, that anti-explosive and recoil passive. And then my favorite, the Arctic Ranger, the Cobra Commander. It is the Scout, the stealth and the POI and the radar boost. Then the capes, of course, and the emotes as well. So, well, look at these. And this image they give us is terrible resolution. I need to find a high resolution of this image somewhere. Hopefully there's one out there. But we're getting a pick up the phone emote. like this. We're getting a Make It Rain emote, and it looks like we're getting an air guitar emote. Those are all really cool. So I think I like all those better than every emote we have so far. I do like the throat slit emote. That's what I usually run right now. But I'll probably switch to one of these. Maybe the Make It Rain or the air guitar instead of that when these come out. And the cards too, those are always nice to have new cards. Again, I just like new colors. We need more colors. So this blue one, and again, this looks orange. It's so confusing. These videos, the media, even in game, the colors are misleading. Until you get in there and put them on and get in a match, you can't quite tell what the colors are, because look how orange this looks right here. And it looks so red in the video. So it's just so hard to tell what it's actually going to look like. Anyways, that's my breakdown of the Warbond. I'm curious to know what you guys think, so leave a comment. If you liked my breakdown, please like and subscribe. And if you were here, if you stuck around and watched the whole thing, thanks for watching. Have a good one.